This is Shalaya with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we are going over setting your goals for 2024. So we're going to be setting your goals for this year through Command. This will be to track your appointments and tracking your closings and allow you to set goals for yourself for the end of the year as to what you would like to take home financially. This system is going to tell you what you need to do in order to accomplish that. So we're going to start by logging into Command here. So you're going to go to agent.kw.com. When you're logging into Command, your username is not case sensitive, however, your password is. So if you do have any trouble logging in, you can click on the eyeball icon here in the password box, and that will give you a preview to be sure everything is typed in correctly. Once you have your logins there, you can click on Sign In. Now, before we jump in here, I do want to be sure to point out that you keep in mind Scott is not a licensed real estate agent. So these goals and numbers will look very small, probably some even zeros across the board. So your numbers will not match what you're seeing within our numbers that we're setting on our end. However, the setup process as well as the maintenance process for setting up and tracking your goals will be the exact same. So once we log in here, the first thing that I'm going to show you is the Command dashboard here. Because a lot of agents may not scroll down and go through this whole dashboard page, and it does have a lot of useful tools. So we do have our tasks here. So any tasks that we have due or coming up, you can find here. Next to that, we have product updates. So this is going to be any new updates within Command here. And you can also change this to show upcoming updates. Below that on the right side, we have a event planner here. And then here in the center, we have our goals, which is what we're going to be going over here in just a minute. And then down below that, we have our database health score, as well as a notepad. So you do have the ability to add notes for yourself on your Command dashboard. So you can simply come in here and type in this box. And then you can simply click off of it and it will save that note in there for you. You can also customize this dashboard. So if you want your goals to reflect right at the top when you log in, you can set that up. So we can click on the Customize button in the top right corner here. So on the left side of this pop-up, we can add or remove widgets from our dashboard. And then on the right side, we can rearrange them by clicking and dragging them around here. Once we have the dashboard how we want it, we can click on Apply to save that. So once this refreshes, that's going to bring my goals widget right up to the top of the page here. So if you want to see your goals as soon as you log in, you can set it up that way. If you would prefer to keep your tasks at the top, you can kind of organize that however you prefer on your end. So as far as the goals go, you will see a few options populating here. So we have our leads, appointments, under contract, and closed units. This here on the dashboard is going to be a condensed version of your overall goals. So once we dive into the goals platform, you'll see a lot more options as far as tracking. So once you set your goals, you will notice that this on the dashboard is going to update accordingly in a sense that your percentages are going to start tracking based on what you are doing within your platform. So for leads, as you obtain leads in your database, this is going to raise your percentage here and work towards your annual goal. So you'll see these arrows that take you step by step through the process. Appointments are going to be tracked based on your opportunity. So your appointment date will need to be added to your opportunity in order for this to track properly. And then under contract is the same thing. Once the under contract date is added within your opportunity, this will begin to update accordingly for you. And then closed is also going to pull from your opportunity. So as long as you're moving your opportunity down the pipeline under each section, this should track accordingly to keep up with your percentages here. A lot of times when agents reach out that they are seeing a discrepancy within their goals, this is usually due to the information being plugged into the opportunity and corrected, or it's not being plugged in at all. So you do want to be sure you are always entering your information within your opportunity as you are working your transactions. Another thing to note is that your goals aren't going to trigger until your office goes through transmittal, which is usually within the first few days of each month. So if you don't see your goals reflecting here or the numbers don't look correct to you, this may be because you need to wait for the following month's transmittal to be processed. Goals will typically be about 30 days behind because of this transmittal process that it goes through. As far as the GCI breakdown over here, this is also something that you want to keep an eye on, and you will see that it does track based on your opportunities. So this is going to track based on where your opportunity is within your pipeline. This is going to put your percentage to your overall goal, as well as your estimated total GCI here. So as far as how we set our goals up, this information is going to automatically plug in here, and then your percentages will start calculating based on those transmittal numbers. So as long as your closings are being added to your opportunities and you are tracking your appointments and adding your leads into your database, you should be able to see your activity tracking here for you with no issues. You do also have the option to change your view here. So in the top right of this widget, we have the option to view our goals in year-to-date form or month-to-date. So you can look at your goals monthly, or you can view your total year-to-date goal and see how that's tracking. So you can set that however you would prefer to view it, and you can swap it back and forth too. So if you want to go back and forth and view each percentage, you can do that there. So now that we've covered this brief overview within the widget, let's go ahead and jump over to the actual goals platform to be sure that these are set up. So to get there, we want to navigate to our reports tab. So if you are still getting familiar with what each of these icons are over here, if you click on the red KW in the top left corner, this is going to bring out a description of each of these icons. So as you're getting familiar with the system, that will help you as you're navigating your command platform. So we're going to jump into reports, which is right here. So once reports loads, you'll see that there are many options in here. So we have database here under the dashboard. We have a reports tab. We have a goals tab. We have a lead routing tab, which is typically for teams. We have email reports as well as text and call reports if you are using Twilio. So there are a lot of resources within this reports tab, so definitely dive in and take a look at each of your options in here. So right now we're going to go ahead and jump into the goals tab up here. So as long as you have set your goals, you will be able to see all of your updates populating here within this tab. So you will see these arrows here show kind of your transaction timeline from capturing your lead to becoming a contact to setting those appointments, keeping those appointments that you're setting. Once you start your transaction and get those agreements, and then when your transaction moves to under contract, and then when your transaction closes. So this is going to track your percentages step by step as your transactions move through your pipeline. So this is very important to make sure that you are entering all of your key information into your opportunities and be sure you are moving them through the pipeline the way you need to in order for these numbers to track properly. Also remember that this is, again, reflecting your previous month's activity, as it will not update until the following month's transmittal processes. So again, these numbers are always going to be 30 days behind. So with this being just January, it's the first month of the year, you may not see any numbers populating in here until after February's transmittal next month. So if you set up your goals already, or if you are just setting them up today and you're not seeing any numbers reflecting here, it's probably just that you need to wait for February's transmittal to go through. You can also sort in here. So we have some options here. So we can either show all, or we can view just listings. We can view just buyers. You can view just leases if you prefer to view that. And then again, you have the option to view over a year or just for the month. So you can toggle between those there. You also have the option to compare. So if we click on this compare toggle all the way to the right, that's going to turn that green and it's going to give us this drop-down menu here. So we have many options in here for comparisons. So we can compare our goals with agents within our market center, agents within our state, all agents, top producing agents, agents within your production bracket, or agents in the production bracket above yours. So there are many different options in here to compare goals. If you want to kind of play around with that and look at the different options, that's a great feature they added in there. So we're going to go ahead and toggle that back off here. So now if we look down a little bit below that, we have this profit tracker here. So as you start working through your transactions, you're going to start to see these bars fill up based on the different percentages you are hitting with your transactions that you are closing. So again, it's the first month of the year. You're probably not going to see any activity within this tracker until after next month's transmittal. However, if you do have any transactions going this month and anything is working down the pipeline or anything is closing this month, once that transmittal goes through in February, you should be able to see those tracking in this profit tracker here. And just like our goals up here, we do have the option to view over a year or over a month. So you can toggle between those here as well. You'll also see some different lights here. So this kind of keeps up with where you are in your profit tracker. I'm going to go ahead and toggle our goals actually to, well, I guess we didn't set our 2023 goals, so we can't go back and look at those there. However, we could have gone back and looked at the profit tracker for last year's if we had those set up there. So if they are green within this tracker bar, that means you are on track to hit your goals. So that means you are at least 8% towards your annual goal for January. Unwatch is going to mean that you are 80% to 99% on track volume. And then red is going to be 79% and below of on track value. So this is going to kind of track how you are with reaching your goals throughout the year. So right down below that, we have our activities breakdown. So this is pretty much what it sounds like. This is going to track the activities that you are doing within your command to help reach your goals that you are setting. So you'll see here, we have 50% notes, 50% smart plans. So again, Scott is not a licensed real estate agent, so he's not going to have a lot of activities to show here as far as working towards any goals, since he is not working any transactions within his account. So all of this will likely look very different within your platform than it does in ours here. Below that, we have our goal conversion rates. So this is going to show you what the conversion looks like from getting your lead all the way down to closing your transaction. So this is going to track right from the start of your goals down to the finish here. And then last next to that, we have our GCI breakdown here. This is going to be your estimated year to date. This will track how close you are to setting your final goals based on your closing transactions. And you will see a note in here that it is based on opportunities. So again, do be sure that you are tracking your opportunities down the pipeline in order for your goals to reflect correctly. So in order to start tracking all of these items, we first need to set up our goals. So to get our goals set up, we want to go all the way back to the top of the page here. And in the top right, we have this goal setting button. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And this is going to redirect us into a Kelly guide here, which is going to walk us through setting our goal numbers. So we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started here. So once this loads, we are going to start on the left side of the page. So the first thing is to choose the year that you are setting your goals for. Since it is now January, this should automatically set to 2024. Under that is where you are going to set your annual profit goal. So this is going to be that goal that you are trying to walk away with at the end of the year. So the overall dollar amount that you want to finish your year with. This is going to subtract your comps and expenses when giving you that number. So you want to make sure you are entering everything in here that you plan for the year. So under the annual profit goal, we have expenses and cost of sales. So this is going to be what we expect to spend for the year to be sure that our final numbers are reflecting as correctly as possible. So for expenses, this is going to be anything that you are spending on your business, whether it be marketing or training or lead generation, anything that you are spending on your business for the entire year. And these can just be estimates if you're not sure what you want to spend on marketing yet, or what you want to spend for leads, anything like that. You can always go back in here and update these numbers. So if you are just coming up with an estimate at this time to set your goals up, that is perfectly fine. You can always come back in here and make edits to it if you need to. So next to expenses, we have cost of sales. So cost of sales is going to be any splits to agents, splits to the market center, brokerage fees, referral fees, anything that is coming out of your transaction. So your expenses are going to be what you spend before your transaction, and then your cost of sales is going to be anything coming out of your transaction. And again, this is going to be your total for the entire year. So you may only have an estimate to throw in there right now until you actually have a feel for what your business is going to look like for the year. So you can always come back in here and change it if you need to. Once we have our numbers keyed in here, then we have our business makeup. So this is going to be what we think is going to make up our business for the year. So for example, if you are primarily a listing agent, you may have a higher percentage under listings than you do buyers, or vice versa. If you are strictly a buyer's agent, you may have all or most of your percentage under buyers. So this is going to be based on what your business style is like here. If you do leases, you also have the option to add that in. If you don't, you can delete that. And then you just want to make sure that your average commission per unit down here matches what you are entering up here. So once we have our numbers keyed in here, you will be able to see in the center here, our profit goal. So we have our annual profit, and then we have our monthly goal of what we need to make each month in order to reach that annual goal here. Below that, we have the tracker of our business makeup. So we have mostly listings here than buyers. Yours will probably look a lot different than what ours looks like here. And again, our numbers are just put together for a class. Scott is not licensed, so these aren't any real goals that we are setting in here. This is just kind of to give you an idea of what to base your information off of. Once we have all our information in here, if we look all the way to the right, we have this color wheel here. So you'll notice that this color wheel and details updated based on the information that we put into that left side. So what we need to make overall in order to reach our goal is going to be listed in the center. So this number is going to be total of our profit goal as well as our expenses and cost of sales. So this is the total that we need to make for the year in order to reach that goal that we set. So once we have covered all of this here, we can go ahead and hit continue in the bottom right corner to go to the next page here. And this is going to bring us to our goal conversions. So this is going to be our conversion rates for our goals. So we have two options here. We can either set this individually if you want to set your custom percentages in here, or we can leave this toggled off and we can use recommended rates and keep this set to the default recommended rates that command is setting for us. And you can set individual numbers for both listings and buyers, as well as leases if you are working with leases. So if you do decide to set your individual goal percentages yourself, you can go in here and do that. And then say you set them up manually and you decide you don't want to use those and you want to revert back, whether you want to revert back to the recommended rates or you just want to revert back to the default so you can reset your custom percentages. If you click on the recommended rates button, it's going to automatically refresh that for you at any time. So you can go in here, play with it. If you decide you don't like what you typed in, you can just simply reset it by clicking that recommended rates button there. So you'll see in the center, it's got all our conversion rates based on those percentages that are entered in on the left side here. So these are the percentage rates that you will need to reach your final goals here. So if everything looks good on your end, you've gotten to this page, your numbers are good, then we can go ahead and click on continue in the bottom right. And then this is going to show you the final outcome of your conversion rates, your GCI breakdown, your business makeup, as well as your average commission per unit. So once we have that all keyed in, everything on this confirmation page looks good, then we'll go ahead and click on set goals in the bottom right. And that's going to save our goals for us. So once we have our goals entered in, you'll be able to track each of those within this goals rich actual here. And then again, you'll be able to track the profit tracker as you are submitting your transactions and your market center goes through transmittal. This will all update accordingly. So this is going to keep up with what you need to do to reach your goals here. So if we toggle this back from year view to month view, so typically this is going to be the goal we have in here. So the leads goal is a little high. That's probably based on the numbers that we entered in on our end. Our contacts goal, we have appointment set goals, appointment kept, all of that is going to be tracked in here. So again, if you set your goals and you have active transactions going, but you are not seeing that reflect, you're just going to have to wait it out until February. Once your market center goes through transmittal at the beginning of February, which again is usually within the first few days of the month, then you should be able to start seeing these goals track. That about wraps us up for our goals today. If you do run into any trouble or you have any additional questions or have any issues with setting your goals, you can reach out to us anytime at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'd be happy to jump in and take a look for you and assist wherever we can. Thank you for joining today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.